Today's show is brought to you by Big O Tires of Prescott, the team you trust. By Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, always friendly, always fun. And by historic Hacienda Inn, downtown Prescott.
In the studio right now with us is Leisa-Marie Grgula, and we're going to be talking about how to be healthier, how we eat, and also a chiropractic physician talking about it's always a good thing regularly to get the spine aligned.
Yes, and don't wait till it's too late.
Because it goes out of whack sometimes. Well, I know when mine goes out. I get a pain.
But Lisa,
I get a pain.
Oh, there we go.
No,
Perfect opening, Tonya. But interesting that you say talk about the spine. Does everyone at some point in time need a realignment of their spine?
Yes, they should. Just the birthing process. If it's a natural birth coming out of the birthing canal, we will need to be adjusted because just the pushing and all just kind of coming out of the body will have that.
So we enter this world sometimes with a misaligned situation.
We did that 10 years ago on your show.
10 years ago, you had a baby, I think
10-day-old baby we adjusted on the air.
So we don't. Some of us don't have a good background then.
Ah, good. That's good.
But I guess the spine affects so many things, correct? And health-wise, many people.
It's like our breaker box, yeah.
So it can affect illnesses. It can cause illnesses.
And that's why we don't want to wait till it's too late. And we do screenings and we try to prevent. Chiropractic is about prevention, not just, ouch, it hurts when I get up, I can't move my neck.
Or fixing
By then,
you.
Exactly. We want to prevent it because this is our breaker box. And I tell my patients that in the morning you get up and if half of your kitchen doesn't work, all of the appliances on the right side, you don't call the repairman. You go to the breaker box, say, oh, must have thrown a breaker. So what we do as chiropractors is we go back to the spine. That's our breaker box. That's where the nerves are coming out of. We want to be sure the spine is aligned.
The sacroiliac, there's so many people that suffer from
sciatica.
Sciatica.
Yes. Yeah, and that will shoot down to the knee, all the way down to the foot. And in the last 15 years of practice, I've even seen patients come in and think that they have foot problems, and it's coming from their spine.
Can you help them with that?
Yes, yes. I work with podiatrists down in the valley in North Phoenix. I have different podiatrists actually who do refer to me because they'll be looking at the foot and realize this is not a foot problem for this patient. Bring them back to the chiropractor, get them over there, and we correct it that way. So that's why feet and spine
Because
go
haven't
well.
you noticed that if your back is, I say out, misaligned, glitch or whatever, you just feel crappy all over.
Everything doesn't feel
You just
so
don't
good.
feel good.
And
if your back's out, you're out all over.
You don't realize how good it feels once you are adjusted. And when I get adjusted, I wonder why anyone would miss an appointment.
So many people, I think, have a problem there. They've lived with it. The pain becomes second. I mean, they just accept it. They know no different. They don't know what it feels like not to have that pain.
It's chronic, and that's when things become chronic. And what'll happen is the nerve pathways will go another way, in another direction, and start going in inappropriate directions to bypass that pain.
The pain, right.
Now I know I have neck is very important too. As it comes up into the neck, there's so many things can happen around our neck, correct?
Yes, it goes to the hands. Some of the nerves in the neck go down to the fingers, and again, sometimes patients think they have carpal tunnel problems when in essence it's coming from the neck. So we start up here and then we work our way down, and then if it is, we treat the wrist appropriately.
What makes the Cox, we're going to show an example here in just about a minute or two, but what makes the Cox technique so superior in this?
Well, first of all, it's very scientifically researched, and a lot of federal funding has been done. As a matter of fact, they just finished another study, a pretty big study up in Chicago and at Palmer in Davenport, Iowa, on this technique. And when it's federally funded, you know there's some good science behind that, so they just finished it. Here I am on this footage here, and I'm showing also the gentle aspect of this technique. There is no traditional thrusting of the manipulation. So patients who are older, possibly osteoporosis, someone who might just be afraid of a traditional manipulation or in that much pain, this is what we do. Different than the other decompression style machines, I'm actually putting my hands on the patient, working to their tolerance. This technique also can go left and right. So when the patient's had an MRI and we can see exactly if there's a disc problem to the left or right, we can move it.
So doctor, this is actually realigning his backbone right now?
Yes, it is. It is accomplishing the same thing chiropractically. However, it's mainly been designed for disc issues, herniated disc, ruptures, bulges, things like that, so that we can actually take that matter that's extruded out of the disc and bring it back in. Yes.
Because you can feel, if you've ever had a slight bulge, you can feel it feels like something is pushing out of your spine or bone or whatever.
It can even be sharp in there, and it can radiate when you press on that area. Yes.
When the patient is finished, when you're finished with this procedure, how does the patient react to that? Are they feeling better immediately?
Wow.
Sometimes they are. Sometimes they actually are, but they've been decompressed. So when they stand up, sometimes they're a little bit lighter.
Woozy?
Sometimes, well, we have a table that actually comes back up vertical, so sometimes they get a little bit of lightheadedness coming back up because they've been decompressed. Their spine has been compressed, and now we have decompressed it. And the research has shown we can actually decompress it by about 2 millimeters, which is a lot of space.
Because we don't want it all compressed down like that.
That's what gravity's doing.
It's pushing everything together, and we don't want that. Although, and I am aware of the more gentler technique, not necessarily maybe Cox, but there's nothing like, if you've got a spot out in the back, I like the good old-fashioned though. Sometimes
we do that.
Just put that sucker back in there, and then you feel like, oh my God.
Yes, we do. We do. And there is like a rib, maybe if you have a rib adjustment or you're having a hard time breathing. We do traditional manipulation in the office, absolutely. But for those particular cases, this is what stands me apart from the others.
Is there some, should we have it done more often? To Tanya's point, if you do have back issues, how often should you go and have a procedure like this done?
Well, in the initial phase of care, for what we call intensive care, or if you have a disc issue or a particular pain, a condition we're treating, it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks of coming in for intensive care. Once we have that under control, then we wean it down to, most people come in about once a month or every 6 weeks.
Hour-long session, or?
No, the sessions, most patients are in and out of our office within a half hour. The actual treatment itself is about 8 minutes. Depending on the condition. Your condition is different than yours, so we'll have different timing. We have physiotherapies like acupuncture and muscle stim and things that we do also, which takes more time.
But then again, after we identify the problem, we treat the problem, we do whatever is needed. It is preventative, but it's also maintenance. We should...
Like going to the dentist.
Yes.
You don't get your teeth cleaned once and not go back for 20 years. And that's what we're trying to educate the public. Instead of waiting to find out that you have a disc issue where you've missed work or you've missed good times in play. We had one gentleman who had a disc that was extruded 8 millimeters. And it moved a spine, a nerve in his lumbar spine 7 millimeters. And the radiologist said, where did you bring him for surgery? And he's on my website and he's on our YouTube channel, Accurate Care. He was pain-free within 3 weeks, no surgery.
Could back issues, could they disguise themselves in different ways in the body?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, with different organs, you can have different problems with incontinence. There are some serious issues with incontinence and disc issues that are entirely different. But for instance, that little 10-day-old baby, he was constipated. And when we adjusted him, remember, during break, they were changing the diaper.
I do remember that.
Yeah, so there's the perfect placebo.
Lisa, where can we find you?
I'm at 20235 North Cave Creek Road at the southeast corner of Cave Creek and the 101 next to Costco.
Excellent.
Doctor, thank you.
Great to have you.
You're welcome.
When we come back, stay with us because we're going to be speaking to Governor Brewer. First, Albert Golden talking about, is this a century of disasters coming up?
And this is vacation time, Tanya. We're all going to be hitting the road, and we need something beneath that automobile that's going to protect us. What is your thought?
There's 4 of them, and they're called tires, and many times your family rides on that. The life of your family could ride on that. Road ready, ready to road trip for $29.99. That is what Big O Tires will do for you. They also have full service automotive repair. It doesn't matter what you need. It doesn't matter what your situation is, but if it deals with the tires, if it deals with your family, if it deals with your life, go to Big O Tires because they will put your car in great working order. Remember, ready to road trip for only $29.99. You can't go without tires.